Hello, everyone, and welcome to In the Right Place at the Right Time, automated feedback for design engineers. My name is Samantha Scaglione, and in just a moment, I'll share with you a little bit about my background. But before we get started, I do have a few housekeeping notes to cover. First off, the attendee lines will be on mute throughout the session. We will be taking questions throughout today's session utilizing the chat panel on the event website. That's costinsight.com, not the Zoom chat. Please enter any questions you have on the chat panel, and I will try to answer as many of them at the end of the session as possible. You can also feel free to schedule a meeting with me via the meeting scheduler on the costinsight.com website. On the website, near the chat panel, choose People, select my name, Samantha Scaglione, and schedule a meeting with me. Alternatively, you can contact me via email, and I will share my email details at the end of our session. We have uploaded a PDF of today's presentation, which you should be able to access in the Files panel. And that should be all for housekeeping. So with that, let's get started. As I mentioned, my name is Samantha Scaglione. I've been with aPriori for a little over 2 years as a product manager, and I am extremely proud to be part of the Cost Insight Generate team, building aPriori's solution for integration and automation. Cost Insight Generate is a solution that lowers barriers to engineering adoption. Cost Insight Generate allows design engineers to gain early visibility into cost and manufacturability within their existing processes. And I'm so excited to dive deeper into that topic with you today. To start off, we'll walk through a brief introduction of the Cost Insight Generate solution. From there, we'll talk about the results generated through the solution's automated analysis. And then we will close by discussing interaction with these results. To set the stage for the Cost Insight Generate solution, I want to start by discussing some of the key product development challenges surfaced in aPriori's research. We heard details of challenges only exacerbated by the pandemic and supply chain disruption, challenges in launching products faster while lowering costs, in doing more with less bandwidth, less budget, less time. And the question that these challenges raised is, how can engineering get the cost and manufacturability insights provided by aPriori without adding another engineering task, which they already do not have the time to fulfill? These key challenges demonstrate the need for automated analysis and early feedback. These challenges drove the development of the Cost Insight Generate solution. In direct response to the feedback we received around limited visibility to cost and manufacturability feedback, particularly early in the design stage of the product development process, Cost Insight Generate introduced notifications that not only proactively inform engineers with cost and manufacturability feedback, but also triage parts based on DFM risk rating. This early feedback allows for early risk mitigation, supporting designers to meet cost targets, address detected design issues, and ultimately reduce late-stage engineering change orders. Through these notifications and other automated analysis results, designers using Cost Insight Generate can dive deeper into the analysis of a component in a single click. Beyond early visibility into cost and manufacturability, beyond the identification of design issues and cost drivers, through that single click, design engineers can access aPriori guidance to understand how to remediate issues and optimize their designs. The feedback, insights, guidance, and notifications that I just referenced are generated through automated analysis, and that means higher throughput with lower overhead. Cost Insight Generate is how engineering can get the cost and manufacturability insights provided by aPriori without adding another task to their already full plate. Cost Insight Generate allows design engineers to create and validate product designs in parallel. And now that we've talked a little bit about the why and the what of Cost Insight Generate, we can dive into how the solution works in action with a sample workflow. Here we start with the design engineer at their workstation designing a component in CAD and checking that CAD model into PLM. On a daily cadence, aPriori queries the PLM system for parts modified within the past day and returns their CAD models and attribute information to the aPriori cloud to kick off analysis. After that analysis is complete, key results like fully burdened cost, piece part cost, cycle time, and DFM risk rating can be authored back to the PLM system. A report can also be attached back as a related object to the parts that aPriori analyzed. We've seen our early customers using report attachments as a snapshot, describing the inputs used, the outputs generated, and documenting a timestamp for the automated analysis. Now, the same insights authored to the PLM are also included in Cost Insight Generate email notifications. In this workflow, after automated analysis, a designer is notified with cost and manufacturability results for all the parts they've been working on via email. Parts with the most severe manufacturability defects are color-coded in the email notification to highlight to the design engineer exactly what requires immediate attention. Reports can also be attached to the email for an added level of detail. From email or report attachment, the designer is one click away from opening analyzed parts in the aPriori cloud to review design guidance and detected manufacturability issues within Cost Insight Design. And then based on the feedback provided in Cost Insight Design, the design engineer can iterate to optimize their design for cost and manufacturability. In this session, we'll be focusing on steps 3 through 5 of this workflow, really digging into the results of Cost Insight Generate's automated analysis. If you're interested in diving into steps 1 and 2 in more detail, make sure to check out this morning's automation and integration, two sides of the same coin session. In the workflow we just walked through, I mentioned how some of our early Cost Insight Generate customers have used the DTC part summary report attached to PLM as a snapshot of automated analysis. But Cost Insight Generate actually offers several options for report attachments. The first is the part cost report. The part cost report is a spreadsheet report that contains the costing inputs and outputs for a single component, including the cycle times, manufacturing rates, and costs for each process that's required to make the component. The next is the DTC part summary report. In addition to the timestamp, production inputs, results generated that I alluded to when we walked through the workflow, the DTC part summary report really focuses on manufacturability feedback. It includes a detailed breakdown of slow operations, tolerances, design standards, and manufacturing issues. And we've seen design engineers in Cost Insight Generate deployments bringing these DTC part summary reports, a report generated for each iteration of the design that was automatically analyzed, into their design review meetings to demonstrate the cost and manufacturability impact of the changes they've made to the model. The last report type is the DFM multiple parts summary report, where the part cost report and the DTC part summary reports each capture details for a single component. The DFM multiple parts summary report looks across a broader group of parts analyzed. It captures similar information to the DTC part summary report and represents it as a row per analyzed component. This table of results can be sorted, for example, by process group or risk rating to make it easier to identify outliers or parts with severe manufacturability defects. We're commonly seeing Cost Insight Generate customers use this DFM multiple part summary report as a single attachment to email notifications, while the individual part reports, like the DTC part summary, are commonly written back to PLM. In addition to the report attachments, Cost Insight Generate leverages its tight integration to PLM to write results directly to PLM attributes. Pictured here is an example of some insights that you can choose to write back to PLM. DFM risk rating, fully burdened cost, piece part cost, cycle time, labor time, finish mass, rough mass, just to name a few. Most commonly, we see customers update a custom aPriori cost field with costing results. But we've also seen some customers using this capability to update attributes in unique ways. Some customers have added a flag attribute to their PLM systems. Think a flag called CIG status. When a designer is ready for their part to be analyzed, they set this CIG status flag to ready. Then, when Cost Insight Generate finishes automated analysis, it updates that ready flag to complete. We've already seen several variations of this approach, some even bypassing that design engineer touch point by using a PLM workflow to automatically set the flag to ready. The third category of Cost Insight Generate results is email notification. The DFM part summary notification pictured includes the part number, process group, DFM risk rating, aPriori cost, and costing result for each component. Cost Insight Generate customers have commonly pushed this notification out to design engineers as a tool to support prioritization. Here, I can see that my sandcasting part was flagged in red with a DFM risk rating of high. Just through a quick glance, I know that this part requires my attention, and I can easily click the part number link to review further detail and guidance for this particular part in Cost Insight Design. Now we've covered the three key categories of Cost Insight Generate results that designers obtain early visibility to cost and manufacturability through. These are all results that live in your aPriori's customers' systems, and they're primed for collaboration. In Cost Insight Generate, we chose to integrate with PLM, conscious of the fact that it's the master repository for product definition data. And authoring aPriori insights back to PLM, back to that master repository, makes these insights available and accessible for enterprise consumption. The scope of each of these results, exactly which part should be included in email, report attachment, or attribute updates, is configurable. We recognize that a primary benefit of Cost Insight Generate as an automated analysis solution is its ability to analyze large volumes of parts. The challenge in pushing out results for a large volume of parts is ensuring that the stakeholders consuming those results are not just inundated with a volume of data, but rather know exactly where to focus their attention. Coming in the 2021 R1 SP1 cloud release is configurable filtering for email and PLM write actions to ensure stakeholders are consuming the most relevant information. In the example pictured here, attributes on the part object in PLM are only updated when the part passes analysis, so to speak, when that part is costed completely and the DFM risk rating is determined to be low. Since this filter was only applied to attribute updates and not report attachments, regardless of whether that criteria is met, a report will still be attached to PLM and linked to the relevant part as a snapshot of the analysis that took place. Now, we've talked about authoring results to your systems, writing to PLM, and proactively notifying design engineers. These automated analysis results are tremendously powerful. Email and report attachments all contain part links that allow a design engineer to open the reference component in Cost Insight Design in a single click. And following the link to the aPriori cloud adds context, clarity, and capability. Designers can review design guidance to understand what the detected manufacturability issues mean and how they can address those issues. They can review results and assign components to their coworkers for feedback and collaboration. They can refine the inputs used or analyze several scenarios of the same component, and the list goes on. Just honing in on the interactive guidance briefly, manufacturability issues can be visualized directly on the 3D model. The reports written to your systems include counts of issue categories, but directly in aPriori's applications, users can understand exactly what threshold was violated and where. With context on what the issue is, its impact, and potential resolutions, designers can make a more informed decision on what remediation action to take. If you'd like to learn more about the design guidance available in Cost Insight Design and aPriori Professional, I would strongly recommend you take a look at James Ferguson's session, Ignore DFM, Go On, I Dare You. So throughout this session, we've walked through a Cost Insight Generate workflow for automated analysis focused on the results generated. We've discussed reviewing those results in your systems and the added power of diving deeper into guidance in the aPriori cloud through Cost Insight Design. But the reason these results are so impactful is because they're actionable. Step 6 is arguably the most important step in this workflow. Armed with aPriori's feedback and guidance, with early visibility to cost and manufacturability, the design engineer is equipped to optimize their design. And after making design changes in CAD, the designer can choose to check their model back into PLM to kick off another iteration of automated analysis, or they can even leverage the Cost in aPriori plugin for real-time feedback before checking back into PLM. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Again, feel free to enter your questions into the costinsight.com chat or reach out to me via email. And do not forget, if you're a customer of aPriori, make sure to write a review of aPriori on any of the leading software review sites, including G2, Capterra, or TrustRadius, to win some great prizes. Thank you so much and have a great day.